The following video is brought to you by the guys at the Wrecking and Racing Podcast, a NASCAR podcast made by the fans for the fans. Check them out at www.wreckingandracing.com, facebook.com/Wrecking and Racing, and Twitter at Wrecking and Racing. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, Saka here, and welcome back to another episode of NASCAR Racing 2003 season, the 2019 mod, and we are here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Las Vegas 2014, I think, is the actual version of this track, and we are on the pole. We qualified with a flyer for sure. Brandon's back there somewhere, though. I have no doubt that he will be back here soon fighting for the lead, but 27 laps. Pit stops will be a factor, so let's go ahead and get the pace car off and get ready to go racing here. We should be able to get the whole shot since we are on the pole. Here we go in the restart box, green flag, and Jimmy Johnson drops back to second. So for this race, I've turned off the interior of the mirror so you can look up there and see exactly who is tailing us. And Jimmy Johnson looks to be pretty strong there on the bottom. Looking to the inside, we have Martin Truex Jr. behind him. And as long as we can get this first lap led in the books, I'll be feeling fairly well. Jimmy Johnson gets glued right to the white line and already up to top speed, and that is the first lap in the books. This race will go by very quickly if there are no yellows. It's a 40-mile race, and Las Vegas is very fast. When they added the banking, they did a lot to make sure that the racing was going to be good here. Jimmy Johnson isn't giving us the time of day, keeping us honest and staying right in our tire tracks. Martin Truex Jr. peeks out to the outside, but we've sort of gapped Jimmy just a little bit here, so feeling pretty good to start the next lap. I believe Brandon qualified toward the middle of the pack, like 6th or 7th or so, so he should be working his way up, and we've got quite a lead here. We're able to get through turn 1 and 2 very quickly, and Truex putting the pressure on Jimmy forces Jimmy to run up just a little bit. It's good to see Jimmy Johnson with a good run. He's looking down there at the bottom. Interesting enough, will he make a move to the inside? No, he stays right in line, almost redlining. Car gets loose on corner entry. We had to snatch it and catch it, and Jimmy Johnson will make the pass. There goes Truex, and there is the field behind us lined up on the bottom. Truex with Logano and Stenhouse and Eric Almirola. So already some early players this season look to be Joey Logano and Ricky Stenhouse for sure. And even Eric Almirola having some solid runs, almost getting into the door of Ricky Stenhouse redlining. We'll keep our momentum wide open on the outside if we can. Kyle Busch down there on the bottom of Eric Almirola. We scrape a little bit, and I can see Brandon right behind Kyle Busch and Eric Almirola moving in between. He's right there in the middle, and we'll see if we can pick up our throttle early and wash out, nearly get the wall and barely clear Stenhouse, but we are back. Brandon on the apron. That is legal here. There is no out of bounds at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. If you can run down there, then more power to you. Brandon takes that spot, and he is right behind Ricky Stenhouse Jr. We'll settle in behind Joey Logano, though, and see if we can get the pass here on the inside of turn 4. I think when they wash up, we might be able to get him. We might use that apron ourselves. Pretty even Steven as far as the acceleration goes. Brandon is hanging right back there as well. Let's get to the inside. Late break, a touch. We wash up just a skosh, and we'll clear Jimmy Johnson, and Brandon almost got by Logano. Logano with the crossover move. And I think if we can hold the bottom, well, I say if we can hold the bottom and we drift up, but if we can run the bottom, we can keep Joey held back, and we broke Joey's momentum a bit, allowing Brandon to get to the bottom. So we'll see if we can pull Brandon on through. He's sticking right to that white line. We're drifting up about a lane and a half. Brandon's going to get his nose in there. We'll get the momentum off of turn 2, though, and be able to stay clear. Brandon rolls out just a touch early. We're going to give him the bottom just to make sure that if he was going to drive in hard, that he could have somewhere to go. So keep Jimmy Johnson out front. Martin Truex Jr. second, we're running third, Brandon fourth, and Joey Logano fifth is your top 5. Laps will click by very quickly, and about lap 13 or 14, we will be coming for 4 tires and fuel. We don't have the fuel to go the entire distance, so we're going to be running, high RPMs a whole lot. Brandon right there on the back bumper, really wearing us out here. But with 8,500 and never dropping below 8,500 RPM, Truex cutting our nose off. Maintaining these high RPMs, we're going to get through the fuel, and looking behind Brandon, Logano has really dropped back. So I don't know if it's a tire thing or if they're trying to save fuel, but we first 4 cars have definitely broken away. We'll get under the 19 here of Martin Truex Jr., make the pass look easy, and now Brandon will set his sights on the 48 Ally Chevy of Jimmy Johnson. So if Brandon makes a move, we'll follow him through. We'll give him some space just to see which way will be faster. That high line lets you carry a lot of momentum and speed off, but the bottom is where you want to be if you want to make the position, just like Brandon did there. He's really scraping the bottom, forcing Jimmy to the outside. We will follow him through and get that momentum. Jimmy didn't get back to the gas very quickly, and we make short work of Jimmy Johnson as well. So running in second, tracking down Brandon, and he scrapes bad going into turn 1. We'll hold turn 1 right here, see if we can get a fender on him. We've got the momentum pretty dead even down the Nellis straightaway. And turn 3 is looking good. Both of us scraping almost into the door side by side. Who will lead this lap? I think I've got it, but just barely. Brandon right there on the outside. He'll be able to drive in, but he rolls out and almost back into us. We washed up trying to do the slide job on it and nearly got ourselves wrecked. Brandon cut us a big break right there for sure. And no real need to push the issue before pit stops. I want to be in front of Brandon. However, even though he didn't qualify right behind us, I don't want to cross over or do anything that would impede our pit entry or his pit entry. So I'll try to stay out in front of him as long as we can, but that high line is good for the momentum. You can see his front bumper right there on our inside. We'll give him the bottom, and he washes out, tries to catch it, and we put the hammer back down. Next lap in the books. Pit stop should be coming up shortly, and I think as the lead cars, we have broken away from basically everyone behind us. It's only a 4-car race right now. I don't know if Logano is backing up the rest of the group, but looks to be pit stop this time. We're down on the bottom. We wash out. Well, we were going to try to pit, but we missed the pit road entry for sure. That messed up our line really well. So we will pit next time by. We'll let Brandon go ahead and get that position, settle in, and pit next time. So it's a good thing I didn't try to stretch out this fuel as long as we could, because we would be on fumes and coasting right now. So let's get to pit road for real this time. All right, we'll slow it up right here, start braking at the ZMAX logo, brake as straight as we can, and 3,500 in second gear. And I will run a little bit more conservative. We don't want to be caught for speeding as the track is still green, but it's a lonely feeling down here on pit road. But once we get off of pit road and get back in the gas, we should be able to make up a lot of time. And if we were able to get on pit road better than most people, we can make up a lot of ground. Crew is on the wall. Signboard is down. 4 tires and fuel, boys. I overshot the pit just a skosh. Get those 4 tires on, please, as fast as possible. Right sides are on. There goes the leaders. So we are 1 lap down. We want this to cycle through. Hopefully that side-by-side racing doesn't lead to a yellow. And here we go, past the pit road speed limit. And we are good. We're going to blend up here on the back straightaway. And I believe the rest of the field should be pitting fairly soon. It's usually monkey see, monkey do. So since we're going to be off of pit road on fresh tires, we are going to be flying. At least that's the hope in the goal. So let's run our fastest laps of the day if we can. Right here, looking to my left, there is the gaggle of cars on pit road. We'll get our lap back from them. And then once we pass them again, it will all be for position. It looks like Brandon might have come in that next lap. There's Jimmy Johnson who came in the lap after us, and there's Brandon right here. This is for the lead. We're going to keep that momentum up. I don't know if we can get to his outside. We're going to look. Car is a little loose on entry, and Brandon just now getting up to speed. We have our tire temperatures good. Pressures are coming up. This is the time that we need to pounce. So we'll be right here on the outside, getting our lap back from these cars as well. All of these cars will be for position. Oh man, I don't know if we touched him or not, but the car just decided to break away right there, shoot to the right. But we'll pass Truex, and I believe we'll settle in second. So this will be a race for the lead. Truex will be in third, and Brandon is really running hard now. I don't know if we want to save these tires for the later part of this run, or do we want to run up there and force Brandon to make a mistake or run his tires? Not sure. He's definitely running hard though. He's scraping out on the bottom. I think we've got a better entry going. We'll see if we can close this gap. We can a little bit on corner entry. If I don't stop hitting that apron, we'll be fine. Next lap in the book, so we have cycled through. Green flag pit stops for everyone, so if a yellow were to come out now, we would be sitting pretty. And it's just a matter of tracking Brandon down, keeping him honest, and seeing if we can eat into this lead a little bit. Truex is still back there, but not really in a position to do anything unless we tangle together and reel Truex back. That was a really good 3 and 4 for us. We're getting a big pull down the straightaway. Still plenty of time to get him. We are within a stone's throw. And yeah, we're running really well now. Brandon didn't have a good turn 1. We're going to close the gap and get right on the back bumper of that Wrecking and Racing podcast Toyota. We'll see if we can force him to run deeper into the corner than he's used to. Maybe if he overshoots these turns, we can get him on the inside. Just sort of stay in his mirror and fill it up as much as we can. We're pulling away from Truex. So it looks like a 2-car race, as it has been last week between myself and Brandon, and it looks like it'll be a heads-up battle again. Brandon's going for his 3rd consecutive win, and he's our only winner so far this year, so we'll try to change that up. Brandon with a wiggle off of turn 4. I don't think he could get the power down as hard as he wanted to. We'll keep closing up. Truex is holding okay. Brandon misses turn 1. We'll be right on the white line. We made up a lot of time there. It's sort of like an opposite mirror of what we did last week. Brandon run that second groove, and he's continuing to run the second groove, leaving the bottom open for us. If we want that bottom to work, we are going to have to get beside him early. We don't want to let him get back to the gas with any power in the middle of the turn. Yeah, it looks like his car is not doing what he would like it to do. Running hard down the back straightaway. Let's see if we can get him in turn 3. He is leaving that door open for our left front fender to catch that air and pivot. We are right here. We don't want to hit the wall. Let's get down to the apron, see if we can make the pass. We're on his inside now. We should be able to drive hard into the corner and complete the pass. He drives in hard as well. We're not going to be able to clear him yet. He's still out there, but just barely. Us racing side by side like this will pull Truex back into the hunt. Yeah, Brandon really packs it in on the entry of turn 3 side by side now. White flag is in the air. One more lap to go side by side. Truex is back there lurking, hoping that we crash. Let's drive into turn 1. We clip the apron a little bit. If we can get back to the gas, we should be fine. We want to stay right beside him so we have the entry into turn 3 and he can't arc it in on us. We're going to have to dive in as best we can. Really drive in hard. Brandon keeping right on our door, trying to side draft. We're going to use all of this apron to our advantage, and we are going to get the win. ladies and gentlemen, and Brandon spins after the line, but it's myself, Brandon, and then Martin Truex Jr., and it looks like Jimmy Johnson in fourth, but a spirited last few laps here. Let's take a look at your top 10. So we saw that Martin Truex Jr. was going to be in third, Brandon second, Jimmy Johnson in fourth, Eric Almirola fifth, Kyle Busch sixth. Seventh place, Kyle Larson. Eighth place, Joey Logano. Ninth place, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Kurt Busch, rounding out your top 10. So let us take a look at those last few laps. We were side by side for 2 or 3 laps. So this is with 2 to go. We drive on in here and we think we can complete the pass. This is when we almost get clear. Yep, side by side. We drive it really hard in there. Truex must have had an interesting view of what was going on. Coming around to take the white flag here. So Brandon got us with 1 lap to go. Here it is on the final lap. We dive into turn 1. Brandon washes up the track a bit. I think that really allowed us to get under him well. Yeah, and almost a dead heat coming down the back straightaway. Brandon could have chopped our nose, but he didn't. Thankfully, that would have been a big wreck, and there was the power. We were right on the apron, and as soon as we got that power down, Brandon couldn't do anything. Comes down to our door, and that was the finish. Brandon goes sliding, saves it, and doesn't manage to damage the car too awful much. He just got into the back. But let's take a look at the standings after Vegas. Myself with the win moves into second place. Chris Buescher is your cutoff driver. 4 points back to Ryan Newman and Landon Castle. Denny Hamlin 3 to the good, but only 6 points back to Kevin Harvick in 20th. So still a very tight race. And we're heading to the newly reconfigured ISM Speedway, the formerly known as Phoenix. The start-finish line is after turn 2, right before the kink now. So that race should be interesting, but that's going to do it for me. Like, share, and subscribe if you are so bold. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week for Phoenix. Take care.